Good morning, my dear students. So, we are in class 6 and we were studying the chapter Health and Hygiene. We have already completed what is communicable diseases, what is non-communicable diseases, and what is diseases, and the basic part of how to take care of your body and how to maintain a personal hygiene, right? So, today we will be starting from the part of non-communicable diseases. I think this part is left, so we will be studying this and we will be completing the chapter today. So, welcome everyone to the online tutorial class of biology, and we are in class 6 and we are following Connect with Science. Okay. So, see, what is non-communicable diseases? Non-communicable diseases are those diseases which do not get transmitted from one body to another body via direct contact. Okay. So, what is it? For example, suppose I am getting a pain in my heart or a pain in my stomach. Okay, now if I am getting a pain, continuous pain in my stomach, for getting an example, so what will happen that if I come in direct contact with any of my friends, any of my family member, it will not get communicated. Okay, so this is known as non-communicable disease. Let's see. Diseases that do not spread from one person to another are called non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases are caused mainly due to deficiency of a particular nutrient in the diet or due to malfunctioning of organ in the body. Nutrients are chemical substance that, please mark this, okay. Nutrients are chemical substance that provide nourishment to our body. The different nutrients that our body needs to stay healthy are carbohydrates, fat, protein, vitamins, minerals and salts. Okay. Now, non-communicable diseases such as hemophilia and thalassemia may be genetic and inheritance from the parents. See, as I have told, given you the example of particularly what? Particularly stomach pain. Okay. Now, these can be caused by any of the following virus or bacteria or anything. Okay. Now, when we will be coming to certain diseases known as thalassemia or hemophilia, what happens? It may get inherited from the parents. Okay, these you will later on in your higher class you will come into this, that what are genetic diseases and how does these genes and chromosomes occurs. Okay, how does it inherit the particular diseases. So you don't have to worry, you will come it in later classes. See, mental disorders such as depression and anxiety are examples of other examples of non-communicable diseases. Nowadays, unhealthy lifestyle involving stress, lack of physical activity and excess consumption of unhealthy foods and beverages have become the leading cause of non-communicable diseases. Lack of physical activity can increase the risk of disease like heart disease and diabetes. What is malnutrition? See, our body particularly needs six essential nutrients. What are they? They are protein, carbohydrate, fat, vitamins, minerals and salts, and the last one is water. It is very important. Okay, all these six should be taken in our body in a proper way or in a proper quantity, which is known as a balanced diet. What does it mean? It means that whenever we are taking or consuming the food in a proper way, in a proper quantity, it is known as balanced diet. Now, lack of these nutrients in our body causes malnutrition. Okay, what is malnutrition? Malnutrition means that whenever our body will not be able to get a particular nutrient from the food for a prolonged time, that will cause malnutrition in our body. Okay, see, food eaten on a regular basis forms a diet. A balanced diet is one that contains all the 5 nutrients. See, here 5 nutrients are given and water is given. Okay, and I have told you as a whole 6. 5 nutrients and water and dietary fibers in correct proportion. Lack of intake of nutrients over a period of time may lead to a condition called malnutrition. Malnutrition is caused by the consumption of food that does not provide all the essential nutrients to the body in sufficient amount. It may also result if one consumes junk food frequently. Fried fruits and sugary drinks make us feel full but do not provide us with the nutrients required in the body in the right amount. This may lead to several health problems such as obesity, heart disease and other deficiency diseases. Okay, so what is it? Like for example, suppose if we are taking we are eating a Cadbury. Okay, what happens whenever we are eating a Cadbury? It makes us feel that we are full, our stomach is full, but actually it does not provide what our body needs. It does not gives you the proper amount of nutrients. Okay, for that reason it is very harmful for us. A disease caused due to lack of essential nutrients in the diet is known as deficiency diseases. Now some of the deficiency diseases are given in table 7.2. okay, I am showing you in this particular table. Okay, just go through this table and learn this. Okay, because questions are going to come. What is the deficiency disease? Suppose kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor is the it caused due to deficiency of protein. Okay, what are the symptoms and what are the recommended diet? Now what are metabolic diseases? Okay, diseases or disorders caused in the body due to lack of malfunctioning of an organ or an organ system or by imbalance of certain control and coordination mechanisms are called metabolic diseases. Diabetes and impaired functioning of kidney and heart are example of metabolic diseases. What are diabetes? See, diabetes is a condition in which there is insufficient secretion of a hormone called insulin. Now see, you have already came across that what is we call it as sugar, right? In our family we see that our grandfather or grandparents or it may be our parents, they have a problem with sugar and we call it as mishti beshi kheo na sugar ache. What is this sugar ache? Okay, now to see what is sugar ache, that is nothing but the content of sugar level in our blood gets higher. Okay, now our body produces a hormone which is known as insulin. This insulin controls the sugar level in our blood. Now if the production of the insulin is low, then automatically the sugar content in our blood would be high, and this condition is known as diabetes. Okay, and insulin is secreted by pancreas. Insulin is useful for utilization of glucose by the body cell in order to provide energy. It also converts the extra glucose in the blood into glycogen to be stored in the liver and the muscle cell for future use. If insulin is insufficiently secreted, see whatever I have told, by the pancreas, the excess glucose remains in the blood, causing a rise in the blood sugar level. This condition is known as diabetes. The symptoms of diabetes are excessive thirst, gradual weight loss and fatigue. Diabetes can be kept under control by providing regular insulin shots to the affected person. Now, these shots can be via injections or via oral. Okay, that is medicine. Now, what are hereditary diseases? See, diseases that are inherited from the parents are called hereditary diseases. Hemophilia is an example of hereditary diseases in which the blood oozing out from a cut or wound fails to clot. It occurs if its occurrence is more common in men than in women. What happen in this condition? Suppose we get a cut in our body, what will happen? Blood will come out and after some time it will automatically stop, or the blood will form clot formation, right? But in hemophilia what happens, these blood platelets fails to get clot in the body surface and it comes out and out. Okay, this is a very serious disease. Healthy practices for community hygiene, what are they? These are very easy points, just go through it. Okay, what are they? Practices that help in maintaining the health of an individual or a community through a cleanliness so that the spread of diseases is prevented is called hygiene. A community is formed by a group of people living together in a particular area. To lead a healthy life, people living in a community must maintain basic community hygiene. Okay. Suppose, for example, we should throw the waste in the dustbin, not in the road. We should never block the drainage system, even if it is in the road. Okay, it's not that only in our house we will take care of it. We will also take care of it in the community or in the part where we are staying. Okay. Every household generates garbage. Throwing garbage all over the place will not only dirt the surroundings but also turns the place into a breeding ground for disease causing microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi. These microorganisms thrive in dirty water, open garbage dumps and pollute the water bodies. They may invade our house causing several diseases. To avoid the spread of diseases in the community, we should ensure the following. What are they? These are very easy points. Surroundings should be kept clean, drain in and around the locality should be covered. Garbage should be properly segregated. All harmful waste such as broken bulbs, batteries should be kept in another dustbin so that it does not get mixed with another wastage. Garbage should be regularly collected from homes and institutions for safe disposal. Dirty water from house and factories should not be allowed to collect open drain or open areas. Provision for safe drinking water must be made. Health and hygiene education should be spread regularly through dialogues and community participate programs. Now we will be coming to the last part of the chapter. What is it? That is preventive measure against communicable diseases. What are the preventive measures that we take? So personal and community hygiene, we should take care of that. Handkerchief must be used. Water should always be filtered or boiled before drinking. Food should not be left uncovered. The use of articles belonging to infected people should be avoided. Water should never be allowed to collect in puddles. This becomes the breeding ground of the mosquitoes. That we should not keep open utensils so that water get collected in it. Okay, so now proper garbage disposal. What are they? Wastes are of two broad categories. What are they? The first one is biodegradable, another one is non-biodegradable. What is biodegradable? Biodegradable means that the waste will get degraded in the surroundings naturally. For example, suppose we are throwing peels of potato. Okay, now these peels of potato, what we are doing? We are throwing in the suppose in the landfill or in the land or in the open space in our own house only. Okay, what will happen? You will see after certain days it will get disposed in the soil itself and we will not found the remains of the peel. But if we throw a plastic in the surroundings, what will happen? Years after years that plastic will remain over there. So the plastic is non-biodegradable and the potato peel is biodegradable. Clear? The type of waste that can be broken down by the action of bacteria and other decomposer into simpler substance is known as biodegradable waste. Examples are fruit and vegetable peels, egg shells, leftover food, rags, garden waste such as dried leaves, cardboard and paper waste. And the type of waste that cannot be broken down into simpler substance by the action of bacteria and other decomposers is called non-biodegradable waste. Example are plastic, metal can, glass, paints and construction waste. Okay. The type of waste that can be readily explode or catch fire, react strongly with other substance, gives out radiation, corrode other materials or cause shock because of toxic is called hazardous waste. This includes hospital waste, syringe, drug, bandage, infection materials, chemical waste, radioactive waste. Such waste should not come in contact in the environment, people or flora or fauna. It must be managed carefully by trained people. We must dispose of any such waste keeping in mind the healthy risk of the people involving in sorting this waste. The problem of solid waste. Now, what happened to the solid waste? Okay, see. Basically what we do is we do landfill. What is landfill? Landfill means we will dug big holes in the land and these waste, this biodegradable waste especially, what we will do, we will just throw it in the dump or in the big pits and cover it with land. Automatically this will get broken down by the decomposers and the bacteria and it will eventually get mixes up with the soil. So waste will get converted into nutrient rich soil. Okay, so this is what we do with the landfills. We produce millions of tons of solid waste every day. Most of these wastage are transferred to landfills or municipal waste incinerators. Landfills are shallow areas where waste is dumped in layer. Harmful chemical and gases escape from the landfills and contaminate the environment. They also contaminate the groundwater. Landfill attract pests and scavengers. Often garbages in the landfills catches fire, leading to smoke and other harmful air pollutants. Incinerator burn the waste, but these result in release of harmful gases like SO2, NO2, etc. What is incinerator? Incinerator means that we will burn this particular waste. Okay, see, these will definitely cause air pollution. Now, segregation of waste. Segregation of solid waste is an important practice of waste management. This must begin at our home. Our home and public places such as park, market and restaurants must have separate color bins for disposing of the different kind of waste. Now, I don't know whether it is available near your house or not, but if you come to any of the parks in especially in central Kolkata, you will definitely see that there are several waste bins kept side by side. One is of green color, another one is say of yellow color. Now these colors have definite meanings. Now it is the duty of us that where to throw which waste. For example, biodegradable waste we should throw in the green color dustbin. Okay, now this 99% of the people do not know that or do not like practice that, they just throw it in the dustbin. Okay, but we should know where to throw which one. The blue bin is meant for disposing non-biodegradable waste such as metal cans, milk bottles, sauce bottles, polythene bags, wrappers and foil sheets. The green bin, see what I have told, is meant for collecting biodegradable kitchen waste such as food waste, paper, cardboard, rags and dried flowers. Now composting. Biodegradable waste generated from our homes can be recycled to form compost. Compost is an organic matter which can be used as a fertilizer to enrich the soil and grow healthy plants on it. Composting is done by collecting biodegradable green waste and putting them into a pit or a bucket in a layer. The layer is then covered with another layer of moist soil. Over a couple of months, due to action of decomposer, the organic waste break down into simpler nutrients and turn into the useful manure, ready to be used in the garden for growing healthy plants. When earthworms are added into the heap, they spread up the decomposition of the organic matter. This type of composting is known as vermicomposting. Now, vermicomposting is done by the help of earthworms. Okay. Now, composting means, for example, we are taking the waste, biodegradable waste, definitely we are keeping a layer of soil just and then adding the biodegradable waste in a layer, and after that we again putting moist soil over it. Okay. Now after a certain time we see whatever I have told for landfill. Okay, that is not practiced over here, but this composting is practiced over here. Now this will turn the soil to be a nutrient rich, okay, as a compost, and we can use it for growing up of the plants. Clear? So this completes your chapter. Go through it properly, go through this particular chapter properly. On the next class I will definitely give you question answers of this chapter, but before that, if you have any queries, please do ask me. Okay, and next day we will be starting a new chapter. So take care of yourself, take care of your family. We will be starting a new chapter in the next class. Till then, bye. Thank you.